Oh shit.
All right, we're good.
Okay, let's see. I'll tell him to refresh.
All
I'll say
right.
refresh the link. Let me refresh it on my end. Oh, finally, there we go. Now I see it.
Yeah.
Sorry
My
about that.
my intro was I realized that I have to hit the start stream button. You don't have to do it with like because I put it
Oh shoot. Yeah, well nobody saw what we were just talking about.
All
Son of a
right.
gun.
Let's do
Okay.
that. Let's do that one more time. Let me do the intro real quick. All right. Um
Oh
okay, good deal. All
god.
right. No problem. We're good. We're good.
Alright. Try this again.
All right. I'm quiet. Okay. Um I'm about as loud as I can get. Okay, let's see.
Yeah,
I might be able to
yeah.
I think we're good.
Oh boy.
All right, no problem. Let's just do this real quick. All right.
Alright.
All right. So, welcome everybody. This is a stream. I have an interview with Ben. He is a former developer of Storm OS, and he is also the developer of Accretion OS XFCE edition and some other projects. And in the chat, I have the other devs that are here. And anyway, I've known Ben off and on for about 10 years. We're even on a live stream once with DistroTube, Derek Taylor. So we've kind of like done the back and forth thing for about 10 years. We
Yeah.
He knew me from my former channel, which we'll get into. I just want to talk to the other devs. I was not intending on excluding you or anything like that. I just wanted um I know Ben, I don't know you guys, and I actually didn't know of this project until yesterday. And
Yeah.
so my apologies, but I would love to have every single one of you on here, and we can definitely do that at some point in the near future. So
Yeah.
anyway, without further ado, let's get into this, shall we? All right.
Sure.
So Ben, all right. I'm sorry for all the.
Oh, it's no problem. It's no problem. Uh, but yeah, like I said, I'm 33, going on 34 very soon, and I have been around the Linux scene since 2010. Uh, my my first exposure with getting away from Windows or getting into operating systems in general was in 2006, 2007 on a very low end junky Dell and Inspiron 11 or 1501 that came with Vista on it. And oh, dang.
Yeah.
Uh, it was the it wasn't very good. I was maining to get into gaming at the time, and my word, that laptop. Oh God, I still have horrid dreams of that laptop to this day. Um, I originally started by trying to put Windows XP on it at the time, and oh, what a nightmare that was. And you know, I finally decided to check out Linux, and I didn't know what the heck it was at the time. I was just curious about different operating systems like Mac, uh, different versions of Windows and Linux, and just did some digging around on the internet. And I came across this show called Ultimix, and I didn't know it was a Linux OS at the time, and I didn't know what the heck a Linux distribution was, nothing like that. And I just I just went in and asked, what is this Linux thing? How do I figure it out? How do I this and that? Just asked the guy a bunch of questions, and he directed me to his website. And at the time, I hate to do this to Justin, but it was very confusing. Didn't know what the heck I was doing, what the heck anything was on there. And I started looking at some of his YouTube videos on trying to figure out how the heck to install it. And it was not the easiest thing in the world back then, because I'm sure, Shaston, you know as well as I do that back then the hardware support for Linux was not
No,
really all that good.
it wasn't.
And the laptop had had a very had a it had a onboard AMD GPU, and oh, that was a nightmare. And it was, really difficult to get that working, as well as the Wi-Fi. And I tried many things for many days, and eventually ended up getting, of all things, a MacBook at some point, which is even harder to get Linux working on at the time. And a couple years later, I ended up meeting Matthew Moore, and that's when, about the time I had started playing around with Arch, Gentoo, Manjaro, and becoming very interested in different distros, trying them out, essentially distro hopping. And oh my lord, the rabbit hole gets even worse. I eventually tried Linux from scratch and a couple of other things, and then I became randomly interested in Slackware, and oh, that was the epitome of insanity. But I luckily came across your older channel before this one, and that's when I started to get a little bit better with Slackware, and thanks to your tutorial, and oh my word, and then uh, I recently, or in 2018, was about the time Matt finally got fed up enough with Manjaro, because what happened with that
Yeah.
was, was the transition to Grub 2 at the time away from GFX boot. And that sort of screwed up Manjaro on his hardware at the time, and eventually started his angst against the distro. And, sadly, um, we I was already helping him out with Manjaro at the time, and we tried to update his Manjaro by MM, and that did not necessarily work out too well. So it was at that time that the production of what was then to be called Hackman started. We were originally going to call it Arch by MM, but that was going to cause a lot of naming controversy with the Arch devs. So then we decided that, given I had done a lot of the work on the installer, which was the PackBang installer at the time, which was from the project.
Was that the Arch ISO?
No, no, no. This was long before Arch. This was back in
Mm.
2018, before they actually put the Arch installer script in there.
Mm.
This was around July or August of back then. We decided to fork the uh, installer from the Arch Midfinger edition, and that
Yeah.
was based on the Architect installer, actually. And we decided to pull that and fork it into our thing. And
Mm.
we decided to use the Architect installer and mix that with stock Arch, is what we decided to do.
And for just real quick, for those who don't never heard of Midfinger, unfortunately he passed away a few years ago. I think it was
In 2016,
20,
roughly.
yeah, something like that. And I actually used to talk to him a
Yeah.
little bit. He was a really nice guy. I
Oh yeah,
remember
he
that.
really knew Arch Linux like the back of his hand. I mean, it was
Yeah.
he actually had some very good window manager tutorials, many different Arch tutorials, and actually he actually he had a Star Wars: The Old Republic video on Linux and without the use of crossover or play on Linux, and it was actually using pure wine at the time, which sadly no longer works. You have to play it through Steam, but hey, as long as it works, who cares? As long as I can play my games. But
Yeah.
I will say on another fact, Shaston, that Linux gaming has gotten a heck of a lot
Oh
better than
yeah.
it was back some years ago. You know.
Yeah, it sure has. And actually, I'll ask you about some projects, but actually, you mentioned Manjaro, so I did a hit piece on Manjaro. I don't
Yes.
know if you saw this hit piece, but
No, no, I hadn't.
oh
No.
god, like people lost their minds, and
Oh God.
I mean, I was, like I kind of like went into it. I was like, hey, I'm gonna like install it and just see what's there. I'm hoping like something breaks to show you it isn't worth
Oh
even
my Lord, man.
installing. But then I gave a few reasons why I thought it shouldn't exist, and I still stand
Oh
by
my
this.
Lord.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I'll take this.
Manjaro.
I'll
Oh,
take this smoke.
yeah. Manjaro does. They do things in a very. What they do is they hold packages back a couple weeks versus what Arch does and updates them regularly.
Mm,
And that to me is okay for certain people,
mm,
but it's in Matt and I's experience and a lot of my other friends who are devs, like the Accretion guys and some other guys,
mm.
we've noticed that, in our experience, Manjaro, it used to be new user friendly. It really did. But in the end, I would not. It was. It was after a while. It just didn't become that. I felt so.
Yeah, no, I agree. But here's the thing. So you're partially right, right? Because they do hold the packages back. That's not what makes it. This isn't what screws over the end user. And this is what no one gets. They have their own repos that work. Okay, not trying.
Yeah.
No, no, I got you. All right, let me see if I can turn up my mic.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, how's that? That should be a little higher. Maybe? No? Okay, hold on. I have like all right. I'm going to have to put some gain, I guess. So let's go right after. Let me see here. Let's go right after they make 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
He says to turn it up. I don't have anywhere to turn it up here, so I'm going
Yeah.
to. So I turned it up 6 dB. That should be plenty. Does that make a difference?
Mm.
Let me know. I turned it up 6 dB, and one thing I could do. Too much? Alright, thank you for telling me. I'll turn it down a little bit.
Little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright. I just,
Uh-huh.
right there. Good. Alright. That should be good. Let me know.
It says you're booming a bit. Come down like 3 decibels or something.
Yeah. Okay. I came down 3 decibels. I think that should be
Yeah.
good. All right. And let me see here. This is going to bring a little background noise. I think we should be good right there. All
Yeah.
right.
All right.
So You're partially right. Thank you for telling me that, by the way, Darren. I really appreciate it. So you're partially right that they hold packages back. Um,
Yeah.
I'm on the mic.
Yeah.
So anyway, you're
Yeah.
partially right that they hold packages back, but that's not the
Yeah.
actual. That's not what makes. That's not what makes
Causes it.
people. Yeah, it doesn't make people lose their freaking minds because it's not what makes packages break. They have their own repos that work with the package manager, and those
Right.
packages, well, let's just say this: they don't use the same conviction. I mean, the same convention as like things from Pac-Man, and so I was a package maintainer for a couple of packages in the AUI.
Oh,
Oh my god, I had to I
yeah.
had to update packages twice as often for Manjaro than I did even Arch Linux. This is an outrage, and I bet you that it's still the case. And if the devs and everyone else wants to catch feelings over that, I'm sorry, but it's just
Yeah.
it isn't more stable. It's just
No,
that
no,
simple. um,
no. It's yeah. Matt and I, when we were building and maintaining Arch by MM, it was a pain in the neck. There
mm,
was a lot of times where we had an online repo on GitHub, and having to maintain those packages was a real nightmare. It really was. And you could say that, you know, it was just unbearable after a while. So, yeah, it was just, oh my God. Yeah. So eventually you know, eventually we decided that given Arch proved more stable, that's
mhm.
when, we went to the Arch by MM/Hackman project, and that's when that's where that happened. So
Yeah, yeah. So
could
we're shooting. We're causing a distro war. Everyone, don't worry.
yeah, apologies for that, guys.
No, actually, I don't care because you know what?
No, no, me either. But it's
I don't care
I
if
don't.
people.
Yeah, I don't care if the Manjaro devs send us angry emails at that point.
Oh yeah, please do. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're.
hey,
I
we'll
maintained
take
it.
all the criticisms we can get.
Yeah,
So whatever.
yeah. So anyway, um,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay, very good. So there we go. So I
yeah.
got the chat like the. I guess my chat wasn't cropped quite right. So anyway, bring on the distro war.
Oh
We'll
God.
win, right?
Yeah, reel them on in.
Yes, and so anyway, I know a lot of people, and I don't know, did you see my videos about the GNOME desktop? Like I
Hold
basically
on, hold on.
torched it.
Let me answer Derek real quick. Yes, we will win the distro war malarkey, Darren. Yes, we will.
Yes. Yeah. We'll
Accretion will always win.
yeah. Yes.
But go ahead
Yeah.
and ask the question.
So did you see my video about uh yeah, well, I'm a Gen Xer too, so right
Oh,
there, man. I shoot straight
oh,
from the hip, and
oh
yeah.
God. Okay, so
Yeah, anyway,
God kill me. All right, so
so did you see my video about the GNOME desktop?
no, but I will say I have sort of a love-hate relationship with that desktop. Um, the desktop is good. Don't get me wrong. It's just in the newer series of the desktop, I am quite frankly not as much of a fan of it as I was back in the 2.x days.
Yeah.
It's good as it was. It's good, but the way they handle extensions and things versus the applets they used to have, oh god, I would uh it's just back in the 2.x, what they now call Mate days.
Yeah.
It was it was a good desktop, but now that the 3.x/4.x days have come around,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, GNOME. Oh,
Yeah. I actually carry that very same sentiment.
yeah,
Actually, so this is like what I want people in my on my channel to understand.
yeah.
Um so
Hmm.
like a lot of us remember GNOME 2. We loved GNOME 2. We were happy with
Yeah,
GNOME 2.
and you
And
could easily customize it and put Compass on top of it, and it was great. You know,
yeah.
it's sort of like how XFCE nowadays is, and Mate and all this stuff.
Yeah. And
You
I'm
know,
not a fan of Mate. It's not a good replacement. And I don't know why, but I think actually I would like Mate. All they would have to do is let me take my those icons off my desktop, and I think I'd be happy with
yeah,
it. They want
yeah,
to. I can't figure out how to take the icons off the desktop.
right. Something that is
But,
so daggone simple in XFCE and
mm-hmm.
KDE and stuff like that. It's not an easy fix to do that or a simple task to do that in
Mm-hmm.
Mate. It's just not,
Yeah.
because in GNOME back in the day, it used to be a simple, that's it.
Mm.
But no, they got rid of that stinking functionality. Why?
Right. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I don't even know who's maintaining Mate at this point.
They got a huge memory leak the last time I checked. So,
Oh God, that's even worse.
yeah. Well, anyway, let's so basically I torched the GNOME desktop. I actually like the
Yeah.
so I do like some of the technologies that the GNOME desktop or the GNOME Foundation has come up with, some of their solutions. They're okay. I'm not going to torch them for that. I don't want to be a fanboy. But I got into a fight with a couple of the developers because of a problem that the XFCE terminal had. And this is well documented. The problem's well documented with a guy by the name of Felipe Contreras, who is a developer. He submitted to them the fix.
Mhm.
And they're like, yeah, there's not a problem. And for 5 years, they went back and forth. And so anyway, about it, I don't know, probably 6 or 8 months after that, I actually came across the the
Yeah.
the issue in Git, and I found that he had submitted the fix,
Yeah.
and I basically went to IRC chat and started talking to some of the devs over there from the GNOME Foundation who was responsible for it. One of them was Christian Persch and a couple others. I was like, hey, can we just, you know, like revisit this? I mean, I was totally cool with it. I was really kind of laid back with it. And anyway, we ended up getting into a huge fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so then I basically went a little bit up the chain and went to the developer. I can't remember his name, but it was of the GNOME terminal. And it's like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm having a problem here, and it's basically from the VTE package, and this is the problem. And I said, I'm not the only one. Somebody's actually even submitted the fix for it. We got into a fight again.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you guys are just too much. And I also submitted like a bunch of bug reports and stuff, a bunch of issues that didn't get picked up, that get picked up everywhere else. Like I'll submit an issue for KD for like KDE Plasma, XFCE, whatever. I haven't used like a conventional desktop forever, but until like the other day, I know I'm using Plasma 6 right now, but yeah, it's just everyone else has been cool with me except for the GNOME desktop.
Yeah.
It's so crazy to me. Anyway, that I should yeah, let's get off onto a different project. So let's get on. So you and I, we kind of have kind of similar. Like I was getting frustrated with my computer as well. So I actually started with an iMac. My first distro that I installed was Gentoo in like 2008.
Gen 2 2008. Oh my god.
Yeah,
That
it was
must have, that must have been hell to pay.
Yeah, it was on a. It's funny because it was on like the iMac. It was on the iMac G5, and that was the one right before they went to Intel chips processors. And so I found a script. I tried the Linux Mint version because you have to get past the bootloader, and I tried the Linux Mint one, but it didn't work. It didn't get past the bootloader, but the Gentoo one did, and so I knew a little bit about BSD, and so I knew the basic commands and stuff in the terminal and what they did. That's a long story too, but anyway, I basically installed Gentoo Linux on this old iMac, and that's how I got started. And so I had a just basically a basic functioning computer with a word processor. I had a browser, text editor, the terminal. I think that was about it. I don't think I had anything else.
Right.
Oh, and a file browser. And that's all I had. And I don't even remember which desktop it was. I think it might have been the GNOME 2 desktop.
Yeah.
I don't even remember that much, to be honest. I didn't know that much about it, and I used it. It worked really good, and I got my
Yeah.
computer back. And then about a year later, I installed Wooby alongside Windows. Like
Oh, I
the
loved that program.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Um, I installed Wooby, and it worked
Oh
out of
yeah.
the box. Everything worked good. And yeah, it
Yeah.
was it was it was um it was how I got into it, and then I realized, oh my god, there's so much more to it. And then I saw like about like 2 or 3 months later. No, it wasn't. It was after that. It was so I think it was. I didn't install
Yeah.
Ubuntu right away. It
Yeah.
was it was a few months after that. Not everything worked on Wooby on that.
Oh no.
No, I mean it wasn't terrible, but I mean I could see like there was a lot of work, and it was like, could I actually switch? And so then I tried a live CD, and everything was working.
Yeah. Wooby back then it was good, but it was a bit more of a process to get stuff working than it was using just straight up Ubuntu. So
Yeah. So then I installed Ubuntu off the disk at some point, probably 2010, and
back when the 2.30 version of GNOME was around.
yeah,
Yeah, that was a very well polished, well built version of Ubuntu. The 10.04 and 10.10 builds. Man,
yeah, it
uh,
was. Yeah, I miss those days.
sometimes I really miss those versions of Ubuntu and GNOME and all that because
Yeah,
you know they just really they had it well polished, well everything, and
yeah,
I really hope that it I hope that we get I hope that the Mate team eventually gets their heads out of their rear and fixes fixes that, you know. So
I don't think so. I think that unfortunately the project is dead. I really
yeah,
do.
I hate to say that, but I think you're right. I think Mate is just,
Yeah,
it's stale at this point. It's at a standstill, and
yeah.
it's just getting like point releases at this point, and they're not they're not gonna make any more changes at this point, other than just like minor increments, and that's it.
And yeah, and what do you think? So let's segue on to something interesting. What do you think about this new move to Wayland?
Wayland, um, well, I I'm sort of the opinion that I'll say this about Xorg, you know, uh, it's been around for many
Yeah,
years, and it's a very clean, very uh, well developed environment, and it runs all the stuff that we as Linux gurus know to this day,
yeah,
like OpenBox, DWM, XFCE, KDE, GNOME, all the major window managers and desktops. And Wayland, it runs Hyperland and a lot of the common desktops as well. But I have tested, for example, KDE on Wayland and XFCE on Wayland and some others. And they work, but in my mind, not as well as the X session works, and that's not to say it isn't usable, but it, um, it, I mean, it can work, but in my mind, on XFCE versus KDE, you have to do a lot of extra work to get it to be functional, you know.
mm,
And I tried the XFCE on Wayland session. It doesn't automatically work. You have to either use LabWC or Wayfire to get it to work.
yeah, yeah,
And I've not yet figured out how to get that thing to work. And
yeah,
I have, you know, I looked at the XFCE wiki for that, and my complaint about that is, say you put, a user who doesn't know what in the living heck they're doing, a average run of the mill ho hum user who's got no idea how to mess with config files, doesn't know what the living heck they're doing with their computer. They just want to boom, click install the distro, have fun with it. That's it. Maybe do a little bit of email, play a game, whatever,
yeah,
browse the web, etc. They don't want to go into the terminal or the file manager as root and start messing with stuff. No, they just want to, install the thing, go about their day.
yeah,
And they're not going to know how the heck to switch to a Wayland session. That's irrelevant to them. They don't care. They just want to install the operating system, go have fun, or they'll rely on you to go install it for them and get them all configured and, help them maintain it, whatever. But, that's beside the point. But, in my mind, I've always been of the mentality is if it ain't broke, don't mess with it.
Well, I'll play a little bit of devil's advocate here.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so Xorg is literally the junk drawer in your kitchen. Okay,
Right.
it really is. I mean, let's just be honest about it.
Yeah.
And as long as you're okay with that, of having the junk drawer
Yeah.
connected to everything, kind of
Yeah.
haphazardly, okay, I'll take it. I do think that we have to transition at some point from
Yeah,
Xorg.
I
I
understand that.
yeah, I do think that, and I do welcome all that development. So I'm not a hater in that sense.
No.
I think even like 6 months ago, I wasn't ready to transition over, but I
Right.
think right now it's a pretty good time to start looking at transitioning over. I think it's I don't think it's like
Oh,
like totally stable, but there's a lot of
yeah. It's
strides have been made. But the XFCE issue is actually very real. For those of you who don't know, like the
mm,
the whole Wayland issue on XFCE is definitely very real, and that's only because they don't really XFCE doesn't have quite have the Wayland support. They barely started the Wayland development on their desktop about a year ago. So
yeah, and they put it out with a barely working XFCE session just a few months ago,
yeah,
and
yeah,
oh, that
yeah,
for me was like, you know, I don't know what drove them to do that, but in my mind,
mm,
it's not how I would have did it, but what I would have done is delayed the release of 4.20,
mm,
and I would uh, have given it a bit more time, as much as they needed to finish the Wayland session. Even if it was a few more months, whatever, and really gotten it solid and put it out then. That's
yeah.
just my
Well, I don't even think it's solid now. So I mean,
no.
uh, isn't it like 4.23 or 24 right now, something like that?
It's 4.20 dot something at this
No,
moment.
no, it's like 23, the current one, the newest
Yeah, 4.23 or so. Yeah, and
one. Yeah.
it's still not 100%.
No,
It's
not even close. And so this is kind of back. So now I'm going to start another distro war here.
geez, okay.
Just warning everybody, I left Arch Linux like 2 years ago. And
Yes.
I made a big video about it, basically saying, hey, look, I
Oh,
really loved using Arch Linux, and it had kind of an interesting story, but
yeah.
I got tired of having to update my packages all the time. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I'd go like 2 weeks without updating my packages. Like I could whoops I could write a cron job or something like that. Like I know that.
Yeah.
And I could have been just fine just writing a cron job, letting it go and
Yeah.
run in the background and nothing would have happened most likely, and maybe
Yeah.
using like whatever what's that time shift or whatever.
Yeah. Time shift, rsync, something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah. But then,
anyway,
um,
I left and I had
um,
found a home until recent
yeah.
in Fedora, except now they
Yeah.
took all the Xorg stuff out and it's just Wayland.
Yeah.
And
That's
I'm
one
not
thing.
that kind of pisses me off, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. That's something that annoyed the heck out of me too. I'm like, why, Fedora? Why are you trying to push everybody into freaking Wayland? Come on.
Um yeah, all right. And all right. So let me pick your brain about some other things. So
Yeah,
um I
sure.
recently started using this the
Yeah.
Universal Blue Aurora, the
Okay.
X series. Have you heard about it?
Not very much. No. I mean, my exposure to Fedora is very limited. I have played with vanilla Fedora, but nothing like
Mm.
Bazite or any other way Fedora derivatives as of yet.
Do you understand their concept of cloud native, like for their
Not
operating
very
system?
much. No, I know that there are certain distros out there that are immutable,
Mm,
uh,
like the
but
Atomic series. Yeah.
like the atomic stuff. Yeah, but I haven't had much exposure to those yet. I know that Bazite does certain things like make it very easy to game on it,
Oh
make
yeah.
it very easy for people with hybrid graphics, that kind of thing. But, that's the really, I know that they're a very easy to get into version of Fedora,
Mm.
but that's about, and like Ublue is too, but that's really all I know about it, truth be told.
So uBlue is the project,
Mhm.
and it's not a like an OS like an
Mhm.
OS like because they use all the Atomic series of Fedora's images, and you can actually with uBlue you can use CentOS, you can use like any
Yeah,
image, any Fedora or Red Hat based image you want.
yeah,
But the cool thing is like this whole cloud native, they're using basically like the same technologies that they use to maintain cloud
yeah,
infrastructure to write the ISO and to keep the ISO updated. And
yeah,
so it basically takes all the guesswork out of keeping it stable. And so it's like having a Chromebook, except you can put whatever you want on it,
Hmm.
except you're not touching the core.
You're
They
not touching
they
the core system, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, yes, you can theoretically install things onto the core system
But
sparingly, but for the
it would
most
be
part,
persistent.
yeah. Oh no, it is persistent.
Okay.
Like if you, for example, if you use like RPMOS tree,
Yeah.
if you use that command, you can install things straight to the core.
Okay.
But now you have like it comes with Box Buddy, it comes with Homebrew, it comes
Yeah.
with flat packs, it comes with Warehouse installed, so you get like all the newest stuff from flat packs,
Yeah.
which I prefer flat packs to
Right.
what is it? I actually don't mind flat packs. Snaps, yeah. Thank you. Because snaps they literally root your computer.
Oh my
That
God.
is the dumbest thing I've. Oh, I
Yeah. They go in the root of your hard drive, and oh my God, that is like, come on. Yeah.
they literally root your computer to install this stuff,
Yeah.
and that's the only way they could figure out how to do it. Well, Flatpak's got the like the sandboxed area. It has all the dependencies, and it works out pretty good. And I've been using this for a couple of weeks now. I've been thoroughly impressed with like all the work that has been going on with it. But
Yeah.
yeah, what do you think about like the immutable stuff?
Yeah. Uh, I personally welcome it. I personally see no harm in it, but you know, um, I've heard good things about it. I've just not, I'm still very accustomed to like the traditional old school way of Linux. I haven't really learned much about it enough to really daily drive it, but I've I have personally no issues with it. I might try it eventually, but right now I just don't have that kind of time or etc. to devote to it right now.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. Yeah, and have you tried things like NixOS?
NixOS, I actually did try making a manual config with my buddy Tenley J, aka Josh, at one point, but I have yet to actually try it from a Calamari's type instance, truth be told. But uh, it's uh, it's not one that I've been personally too interested in trying, truth be told.
Yeah, yeah. I actually was really interested, and I almost went to NixOS. I think it has like the better package manager um Pac-Man. I think it is a better
Yeah,
package manager.
yeah,
They have a really different way of actually installing their software. Now you have to do a lot of it by hand, do
Yeah.
like, but it's not terrible. Like,
No, no. I mean, I personally, you know, I would have to learn it and actually learn the command syntax and that kind of
yeah,
thing. I have contemplated it because I've heard it's not as bad as most people think. But the problem I had with the manual way of doing it once before was I could not get it to boot on an EFI system last time I tried it. But
oh
yeah,
wow,
because all my majority of my computers, except for my HP laptop, which has a hybrid BIOS, it sort of has like uh, it has a it has a 32-bit EFI, I think.
mm-hmm.
I finally just, you know, it has the ability to boot either BIOS or EFI, and it uses a hybrid. It uses a 32-bit EFI for the EFI functionality, and I just
Oh
yeah, and I could not get. Uh, I just finally could not figure out how to get Nix working on a EFI system, so I just finally gave up on it, and I didn't know what I was doing.
yeah,
So
no.
yeah,
Well, if you
uh,
have that 32-bit thing going on, that would make it kind of
yeah,
difficult.
yeah. Now the laptop I tried it on was pure 64-bit, pure EFI, and I don't know, I just couldn't figure it out. So
Yeah, I have a hard time with UEFI sometimes. I'll be honest. Like, if I have to do it by hand, I have a problem with it. If I do it,
yeah,
yeah,
and you know, I mentioned Linux from scratch earlier. That's a distro or a series of things where you just follow a book. It's not necessarily a distro, I should say, but
yeah,
it's a book that turns into a Linux system,
yeah,
Linux distro, and
mm,
it's all manual. You don't have a package manager. You don't have all this and that.
yeah.
So
No,
it is possible to put something like Gentoo's Emerge, Portage, or you know Arch's Pac-Man on there or something like that. But that's very involved, and I personally would not recommend somebody to run LFS as a daily system. It's a pain in the butt, and it won't be fun. You know.
no, probably not. All right, so now let's talk about accretion. OS
Yes, yes,
XFCE 4.
accretion. So, God, I wish the others were here. But yeah, what happened was, at least with me, was at the time I joined accretion, they had developed Darren started it off, at least is what I know, don't quote me on this. Darren was maintaining and still is to this day the main edition, which is the flagship, which is the cinnamon version. And they were looking for, and Jonathan brought this to my attention. He uh I was in the heist of maintaining StormOS XFCE, and he reached out to me, because they were looking at the time for an XFCE maintainer, and they knew I knew very very well XFCE, so they brought me on to a Discord chat, and we all talked, and we even brought my dad into the chat, and this was before he got home. Actually, it was just me at the time, and we decided to at the time join forces and merge and uh, bring in my XFCE skills and you know uh, put together a um, XFCE version. And what happened essentially was that we, as that, I brought I brought them XFCE. They gave me the wallpapers, the theme. I put the icons in there. The Darren helped out with some of the Calamari settings, and you know, I forked that from him, and we spent about ooh several like a week getting the initial build done. Then I spent a couple more days and nights getting it all done, and back and forth help from Jonathan and Darren, and yeah, it was um, a lot of trial and error, but you know, we both felt that in the end there was no reason uh, to have two different distros building the same premise. You know, we didn't feel that Storm OS needed to be in a sense competing, I guess, or we weren't really competing. We were just helping each other out in a different name, so to speak. So we decided that you know instead of competing for the same goal while helping each other out, that didn't make a whole lot of sense. So we decided, what the heck, let's just combine with each other and accomplish the same goal, you know. So that's essentially what we did, and we're now helping each other out in a more sensible way. So that's uh, that's at least what I could tell you about accretion.
All
So
right. How long have you guys been at this with Accretion?
I'm not sure exactly when they started, but um, I've been on the team for about maybe a couple months, or at least a month now, and I I have enjoyed it, but the Storm OS project has been around since 2018, like I said, and that's something that you know I forget when. I'm not sure when accretion first came around, but accretion started last July, they said.
Oh,
So yeah, it's been going. They've been going for about a year, but my project has been going up until a month ago, actually. So that is true. Yes. But yeah, it's been a heck of a ride, and it's been great. So I like it, and you know, this is something like Aerosmith would say. This train just doesn't stop rolling down the tracks, and you know, I I've enjoyed helping them out and then me, and I have no qualms about it, no complaints, and hope that the fun continues going forward. So.
yeah. It sounds like you guys have a good team going on.
Oh, for
Uh,
sure,
yeah.
yes, and these guys have been friends for a long time, and you
Mhm.
know we've we've got a heck of a team behind the thing, and we're we have no plans of stopping anytime soon, and
Mhm.
you know hopefully this video will get a lot more people onto the creation platform, and we'll just see where it goes, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but I'm gonna say this. In my mind, you know, if you're gonna try Arch, I would definitely download something like Accretion or something along those lines, because installing for somebody just coming over to Arch, I would not by any means of the word recommend installing Arch from the command line for the first time. Because that to me is like opening up a can of worms and expecting them all to come out. That's not something I would do.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, and actually, I installed Accretion XFCE yesterday when I was live. It is
And I watched
very,
that, man.
yeah, it was very clean, guys. I just want to
Very
say
easy for that
very
matter.
easy. Well, that too, but it was very clean. Like I, my frustration with Arco Linux is that he tries to put everything in the kitchen sink. And I wish he would just have like a GUI to install like all the other stuff separately. Um,
Yeah, because I mean, while Eric does do a very good job, again, he just like you said, he includes every nook and cranny in there. And that's my gripe with it is that, he tries to give people too much stuff by default. And it's like I don't know what his mentality behind that is, but in my opinion, you're right. He needs to not do that, or else people are going to get frustrated. They're going to throw up their hands and be like, I'm not touching this dang thing again, you know? And I don't mean to sound like a hole saying that about him, but it's it in my mind, it turns the user off.
yeah, I'll say something really nice about Eric DuBois though. He does bring a lot of excitement
Oh
to the
yeah,
chat.
Jonathan does make a valid point. We can't forget about Jacob, the YouTube manager, and Liv working on Xmonad. Yeah, we're very excited to see what Liv does with that.
Yeah.
She's the one behind the Xmonad version,
Hmm.
and yeah, Jacob, our buddy Jacob, he does a great job maintaining the YouTube space on things, and I'd actually like to get both of them onto the show at some point too here.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Like, hey, you're
Yeah,
all welcome on here. No,
yeah, of course,
absolutely.
and yeah, we'll I'll try and bring them into your Discord and see when we can, or you into ours. We either one,
Yeah,
and
both even. That
we'll
sounds
we'll
great.
set up a
Yeah.
time that we can all chat.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan. I would definitely would just kind of do the same thing we did right now. Just kind of do
Oh,
like,
sure, yeah, just bring in the backstory and all that kind of thing.
yeah, no, absolutely. So anyway,
Yes.
yeah. So anyway, I really did. Thank you. Yes, Darren, I would definitely have you on here for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So I
Uh-huh.
so I just wanted to kind of um so let's go back. My wife kind of got me a little like she had a
Thrown
couple
off, yeah.
questions. Yeah, threw me off a little bit.
Oh, good.
So yeah, I wanted just to talk about like how clean that distro was because
Oh, yeah.
uh I do like I try Arco, I've tried Garuda. Now
There's a
Garuda,
lot.
there's a problem with. Oh, hey, Darren, it's a fellow Gen Xer right here, man. I'm 50 years old, so
Yeah.
I've already had a quadruple bypass surgery.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, that no kidding. That was my
That's no
47th
walk in the
birthday
park.
present. Yeah. That was my 47th birthday present. Oh, hey, by the way, you need to have a quadruple bypass surgery. It's going to
Yeah.
cost you $40,000 over a weekend.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
That
I
actually reminds me of a
put me
couple
in the
years ago.
poorhouse again.
Yeah. Not to go too far off the cord here, but
Yeah.
a couple years ago, my dad actually had to have cancer surgery, and
Oh, yeah.
he's turning 68 this year. So,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah, your dad is about my dad's age actually.
Yeah, and
My dad's almost what I guess he's almost 69 right now.
yeah, my dad's he actually in 2018 retired from IBM actually.
Oh, wow, no kidding.
Yeah, and he and I we wanted to go. I think it was that year or some years down the road, but uh, we are we are close in about. I'll tell a minor story here. We were planning at the time to, and since like 2010, I think
Mm.
we I grew a love for Foghat actually,
Oh
and
yeah.
yeah, and we in 2012 I called up Charlie Hume, the former lead singer at the time, and he sent me his phone number because we were going to originally go hire them for a birthday uh, party of mine, and that sadly bombed. So, uh,
No. I'm sorry to
but
hear that.
at the time, we decided instead to go to Kokomo, Indiana, and visit backstage with them for a while. And, you know, but in 2018, we were going to go to a gig, and that fell short because of his surgery. So, anyway, yeah, he's been a good supporter of, my love in Linux. And, yeah,
Yeah. No, very good. Yeah, so
right.
anyway, we were talking about getting everyone on. So,
Of
yeah,
course. Yeah,
but before that, I just wanted I've tried to do this a few times.
sure.
Um all
Yeah.
right. So I've tried a few different arch variations. I haven't tried
All right.
all of them, but I have to say, like, your version of XFCE was very clean. I haven't tried the
Oh,
others
yeah.
yet. Um, and I think actually for a new user, this would be very ideal. I think,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
yeah, because I mean, it's just like, 3 clicks and you're in and you're done. Um, you might at some point in time maybe try to get like a store or something to download
Yeah. Well,
packages.
we include PAMAC for that,
Yeah,
but
I hate Pamac
yeah,
personally.
that's understandable. We are just,
I'm sorry. That is like anything that came from Manjaro. Like I just want to throw in the trash.
yeah, we're trying to come up with something different, but we haven't decided which that'll be.
Yeah. I actually one thing though that I would do is so like it's cool like if you have like
Yeah,
you know something like Yay installed and install things from the AUR, but I would install something like Warehouse and then just have like the
yeah.
packs.
I'll talk to the guys about that because, yeah, we have contemplated switching PAMAC out for something for package installation a
Mm,
little bit better than,
mm,
PAMAC is because I agree. At the end of the day, PAMAC is okay, but as a starting point.
mm.
But as it is right now, it's just not the best solution.
No, and I mean, we're hating on the
Yeah,
devs of the Manjaro team pretty hard.
yeah, yeah, and
They
that's
d-
not.
they they do have like before like totally trash them. I mean, there are
Yeah,
some things that are kind of cool about them. They were the first. I think they're the first distro that I saw that had the Calamaris installer. Um,
yeah,
I don't know who came
yeah.
up with the Calamaris installer to be honest, but
No,
they were
me
the
neither.
they were the
Actually, it was
first.
Adrian de Groot who actually initially made it, and I think it was a Manjaro exclusive at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I kind of remember, and yeah.
yeah, yeah. He did a very good job with it, but he made it distro agnostic, was what I think he did.
Oh, I see. Yeah, no, that's actually cool because now, like, I can, right now I'm kind of homeless though because, I mean, somewhat because like
Yeah,
I'm enjoying this Aurora thing and I might stick with it.
yeah,
I mean, it's just because,
yeah,
love hate relationship with calamaris. Yeah, I totally get it. I mean, honestly, if I had
Yeah.
a distro, I mean, my honest truth is I would have an in-curses installer. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah. Well, that was actually what we had originally in Hackman was the
Midfinger.
yeah, the Midfinger installer was actually in Curses back in the day when he did his respin, but
Mm-hmm.
uh sadly that installer doesn't work anymore, so we're
It
having to
doesn't?
it it no, because we tried it and we couldn't figure out how to get the MK init part to work properly on Storm
Mm.
OS, and I was considering moving it to my XFCE on Accretion, but the problem was I couldn't figure it out on
Mm.
Storm OS, so we just decided to use Calamares and just leave it at that. So,
Mm.
and that's just sort of where we decided to leave it. So, and across the board, we're using Calamares because it's just easy for the end user. And, you know, the reason we're not using the end curses option is because it's just a real pain in the neck for the end user. And we just decided, we're going to stick to Calamares, even though coding it's a pain in the ass. So, yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
Uh, so, in the end, we're all using a similar version of Calamares configs. It's just we're not, we're the only thing different really is that, and Darren said he's thinking about making his own installer someday. But I would be text based, but it won't make users cry like an Arch install script. Yeah.
Why does that make users cry? I'm not sure, but okay.
Well,
Oh, because they just want to point and click.
they just want a point and click menu. That's it. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I have a I don't know, like I have mixed feelings on a lot of this stuff, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
They just want a point and click, boom,
yeah.
install, done. That's it.
Well, I don't know, Darren. You're not going to get any sympathy from me, or they won't anyway. I mean, because my first distro is Gentoo on an
Oh God.
iMac.
That's scary, man.
And I was stealing the Wi-Fi from the person upstairs. So like,
You were stealing the Wi-Fi from the upstairs
it's
neighbor?
back
Oh
in
my
like
God.
the WEP days, because like this is Mexico.
Oh
I live in.
God.
I mean, I don't know if you know this, but I live in Mexico.
Yeah, I could kind of pick up on that when I
Yeah,
first met you.
yeah, yeah. I don't live. I haven't lived in the states for 25 years. So
25 years ago. Wait.
yeah, no,
Well,
I'm a dual citizen. I'm not even. I'm just barely 50.
no, I understand that. Well, actually, my mom's a dual citizen as well. She's from Finland,
Oh,
actually.
oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but sadly, I've struggled learning her language, actually. So, um, and I don't know if you know, but my last name is actually of Irish descent,
Oh,
actually.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fitzpatrick is a Irish name, actually.
Okay. Yeah. No, I got
But
that
I,
part.
I when I speak to a northern or southern Irishman, I don't remember exactly, but one side of that country actually has a very, very thick accent,
Mm.
and one side of that country drinks a lot. So I struggle sometimes when, like, for example, my buddy Paul on Discord has chats with me and that kind of thing. But
Oh.
anywho, uh, my, yeah, either way, I've enjoyed this chat with you about different things and getting to know each other. And I'm glad to come back at some point with the rest of the group, the team, and have more of a chat about strictly accretion and
Mm.
getting to know all of the team with you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I've seen like some of the videos and stuff, so like
Yeah,
yeah, I just yeah.
yeah,
Um so very good. So
yeah. but yeah, there is actually a side project that I've been working on actually that I wanted to briefly mention. It's called Storm G, which is Gen 2 based,
Oh yes.
and we've it's not going to be a main thing with accretion. Like I said, it's just going to be a store side project that we're planning to offer at some point. And uh, my friend in the UK, Emiloism has he had a birthday today, and he actually we looked at it this morning on his Twitch chat and his Twitch channel, and he got it to almost install, but the branding module didn't work in Calamares, and we got the unpack. We found that the unpack file system module was not was had the wrong entry in it, but we got it to start to unpack. But then we discovered that there was a boost Python error in there that had to be that sadly might yield some package updates that need to be done on my end. So worst comes worst, tomorrow he might have a hangover, but he said regardless he will. I sent him the build files link on GitHub, and worst comes worst, he'll build it on his end. So yeah,
No,
but
I'm.
way he's actually the Mate maintainer on Gen 2 actually. But yeah, he said he doesn't have much experience with calamares, but I showed him on my end where to fix it, and you know, worst comes to worst, like I said, he'll look at fixing it, rebuilding the ISO for me tomorrow on his computer, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
So
So anyway, hey, if you guys
mm,
I'll just throw this out here.
yeah,
I have an installation script of some of my some
yes,
of my old desktops, like BSPWM, Spectre WM, DWM, that sort of thing.
yes.
And anytime you guys, if you guys wanted to, roll with something like that on one of your distros or something, let me know, and
Well, yeah,
I'll
and
update it.
we should I should point out that we've been actually considering putting together a Hyperland edition. Actually,
Oh, Hyperland would be good. Yeah. I don't have a
yeah.
Hyperland configuration yet, but I don't think that's going to be very far
Well,
from it.
we were considering trying Jay Coolit's
Oh, yeah.
version, but the
Oh,
problem
yeah.
with his is that you know it's got so much stuff included in it,
Oh, yeah.
and it's got so much extra cruft in there. No offense to Jay, but he's supporting so many versions of Linux that it's such a pain to get set up. No
Yeah.
offense to him again, but
Oh,
you know,
no. It
it
is. I know what you mean because I installed the Hyperland edition on Fedora.
yeah, of
Um,
his thing, yeah.
yeah.
And once you get it set up, though, it's not that bad to use. But oh my word, he's got so much stuff in there that it makes it hard to learn Hyperland.
Yeah, Hyperland isn't that tough, but I mean, it's actually easy. Probably one of the
Yeah, it's
easier.
one of the easier window managers to configure, but
Yeah,
learning it through his scripts, it's like, oh my goodness.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. There was a few things that it kind of like had me drawing a blank, but I know why because I figured it out later though.
yeah.
He uses a lot of
Yeah.
he uses a lot of symlinks in his
Oh,
script.
golly.
I use Symlinks too, so I'm not gonna knock it. It's actually probably
No,
pretty good.
no, it's a very well done
Yeah.
setup script, but yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
trying to see how I can modify the current
Yeah.
Fedora version to get Xorg back in. Like, because it's more than just installing Xorg, because they ripped all the, um,
Xorg stuff.
yeah, but they ripped out all of it. Like, So
uh,
like yes, you can install it, but yeah, it's not
it's
going
it's not a walk in the park for that. No.
no. And I can't seem to get Spectre WM. I have a script to install my. I don't know if you saw my Spectre WM rice. It's
I
like
haven't seen that. No.
oh, it's you might check it out. It's pretty
I would
badass.
love to. Yeah.
It's a
Now, but yeah, if you do a Hyperland config, I definitely check that out too
it.
because I
Mhm,
I like I will say I like Jay Coolitz, but the
mhm.
problem is that he's got so much in there. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And the thing is, another thing is it's not easily adaptable, even if you follow his wiki to other Linux versions. It's just not.
Yeah. There's a couple other tiling window managers, like one based on Xmonad,
Yeah.
and one
The
based.
one my buddy Ricky, who was helping me out with Storm OS in the beginning, uh he's been helping me with like package selections and stuff like that. And right now he's not around because of, you know, teeth inflammation and all that. But
Oh,
yeah, I'll show him this interview later. But he uh, he actually is a window manager fanatic, and he actually showed me a couple times how to configure OpenBox and i3 and a couple of other ones.
mm,
And I when I run those things, I actually like to put the XFCE panel on it because
mm,
I love that panel, and I've tried like Tin 2 and a couple of others, but I always default to the XFCE panel because it's just so versatile, you know. But that's just me. I mean, you know.
yeah.
Again, about Hyperland, you know, I still want to someday make my own version of it, but
Mm,
you know, that won't that won't happen right now. But
mm.
you know, I'll uh, I'll definitely check out one if you do it. You know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'll definitely, I'll probably, because that's probably something I have on my bucket list. I have a couple of window managers. Like my favorite window manager of all times, like, or yeah,
Yeah.
is PEK WM.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that is like the best window manager ever. Like
Yeah.
if now it's hard to get configured because people don't know how to configure it, but you actually have to configure the window behaviors with
Yeah.
WM control.
Really.
Yes, if you do that, I have scripts to do it, and it's oh
Oh.
my god. And so it's kind of like getting
Yeah.
me like because I do know a little bit of programming, so
Yeah.
I'm thinking I might actually
Yeah.
like put my hand at like trying to get like one of those like get a window manager that's Wayland based and
Yeah.
then have it be like the same behavior as like PK and then maybe like
Yeah.
slash Spectre WM or Xmonad, something like that. Like
Yeah.
you would just press a button and it would switch to tiling mode or
Right.
something.
Right.
But it would be a very very lightweight that sort of thing.
Very
I've thought
lightweight
about yeah.
setup. Yeah. Yeah. What I might do later on this evening, I don't know when, but I might dabble with playing with Hyperland somewhat actually.
Yeah, I want I need to find somebody who can actually do this because who can
Uh-huh.
actually knows a little bit, just a little bit to get me started about it. I'm
Yeah,
reading.
I would. I would. This is what my friends have told me, and other people I've talked to. I would start looking at the Hyperland guide on their website. It tells you how to install it, and it's very very easy, and then
Mm-hmm.
you just go through that. You know, and I'll link it to you.
No,
Um,
no, no. I got the Hyperland isn't. I don't think would be a big deal. I'm saying if I did like if I made my own desktop, like
your
there's
own desktop environment. Oh, jeez.
like, because I don't know enough about Wayland. Like, I could probably
No.
pull it off in X, but I couldn't.
Yeah,
Wayland would be a little.
Xorg. Yeah, Xorg is not that bad to write something in, but writing now. At one point, my dad was very impressed when I did this. I tried to build my own Linux kernel and then put stuff like do a LFN kind of thing,
Oh
Linux.
yeah.
But that was I didn't know how to really do that. Like do like a busy box with uh, Linux bare bones,
Mm-hmm.
But I might revisit that, at some point just to screw around with it, see how far I can take it, whatever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, and I might actually try and make an ISO out of that at some point. But that is a very, very, very involved project. I don't know if I'll even do it,
Yeah. I
but
would. Yeah, I would. You know,
um,
if I thought that
yeah.
I could easily build a like a package manager or,
Oh
and stuff like.
God,
If I thought I had like the skills to do that, I would do an LFS. Otherwise, I don't. I don't see the point.
LFS is
And
uh,
CLFS and BLFS and all that. Like I got because I
God.
did the LFS. I don't know, like 8 or 10 years ago, and I got
It's
through
gotten a lot
BLFS.
more. It's a lot more packages than back then. But what I honestly do is I just copy paste the stuff. I don't actually hand type the thing because I
No,
tried to hand
no, right.
type it once. I instantly realized what the hell am I doing this?
Yeah, no, no. It's copy paste, but it and that's
But I
funny thing is
still
it
try to
doesn't.
read. I still
Yeah,
try to read the documentation, even though I'm just hand copying the commands.
yeah, yeah.
Because
No, for
if you
sure.
just blindly copy paste the shit, you're not gonna get much out of it other than a booting system.
Yeah, yeah,
And you don't really learn anything if you do it that way.
yeah. I mean,
But
yeah,
uh, you know, it's it's still a learning experience one way or the other. You'll learn what the kernel does, what the etc. And if you haven't done it at least once, I would highly recommend any Linux, savvy user to go through it.
So I got another question. So
Sure.
I
Yeah.
so I think I want to start another flame war.
Oh, sure. Sure.
So what is your like? What's your take on like
Sure.
utils? Have you heard about this?
Oh yeah, the Rust written utils. Yes. I know that that's coming in the the not the next version of Ubuntu, but the next version of Ubuntu 25.10. And um, I know that the guy who's pushing for it is on the core team of Ubuntu.
Yes.
And from what DT Derek has been talking about, I actually spoke to him on Discord last night. I didn't touch on that because they were gaming and all that, playing Zero AD or something like that. But I saw his video discussing it, and I'm like, what in the living heck are they doing this for?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I get that. I get that. They want to be more modern. They think it'll be faster or whatever. But in my eye, I I come back to this philosophy: if it's not broken, don't f with it.
Well,
And, and, and
I actually don't. I support the whole idea of rewriting it Rust if they want to do it. I'm cool with it.
yeah, and there's
Yeah.
Jacob, our YouTube guy.
Oh, cool. Hey there.
Yeah,
Hey Jacob. Um,
but
so
yeah,
basically, I'm cool with it. I'm not a hater. I'm
no,
totally cool with all of it. But you know what really pissed me off? And what
What?
really like got to me was you look at the license. This is so close to like this is one of the first packages you install when like you do like an LFS. So it's like close to like
Yeah,
the kernel. Like
yeah.
I mean,
It's
dude,
almost
like
like the damn kernel. You're right.
right. Do a I mean at the very I mean if you wanted to like keep it like you don't want like the Richard Stallman-esque license like the GPL
Uh,
3.0, like have a light GPL license. I don't care. But don't put an MIT license. That's just a lot that's just disrespect.
that's asking
Yeah.
for you to get shit on. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I shit on him the other day and man, I caused a flame war. You should see my
Oh,
comment
I
section.
imagine that. I would have to look that up later. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I mean the opening statement was, "I smell a rat."
Yeah. Yeah. I uh, I would
Oh
be very scared to even think about going down that rabbit hole.
yeah.
But anyway, I'm personally not opposed to Ubuntu changing the core utils for utils, but
No.
I just hope that I hope that they understand that uh, this that in my eye the utils package is not in my mind ready for prime time use.
Well, look, like most of those tools, like ls, cp, all those commands that are in
Etc.
there.
Yeah,
It's not that like those are not that like they're pretty rudimentary. Like when you know a little bit of programming, it's like okay,
yeah.
I could rewrite it. I think I could probably rewrite it in Rust, within
If
like
you want to,
yeah, I could rewrite each one of those functions within a few days. I don't know how efficient it would be, but I mean, I could probably fake my way through it.
yeah.
However,
It's like this. The way I think about it is, we. I mean, yeah, it might be possible, but it doesn't mean it would be the easiest thing to do.
no, but I mean, where I was going with is I'm not even worried about like how stable it is or how I
As
don't
long
even
as it's
care.
functional.
Yeah, I don't care. The one thing I care about is that license. Having it so close to the kernel, it's like because half of the Linux users are trying to basically push Richard Stallman out and push Linus Torvalds and everyone else out. And no, no,
No, I would not do that.
no, I won't. I won't support it. But it's like, dude, like it makes me
Yeah.
want to go to Europe and find a couple of them pud whackers and just punch them in the nose, man. I swear to God. Oh,
I don't disagree. They have been pushing, trying to push Stallman and
yeah.
Torvalds and them out the door.
I mean, I get like, Stallman is awkward, right?
He's done some weird shit throughout his life. I will
Yeah,
say that.
yeah.
But
He's awkward.
that doesn't mean he should be fired. I really don't think so.
Well, I mean, for one, that's not even a paid position. So, what are you
No,
firing? What are you
I
firing
mean,
him from?
no, I know.
Like,
I'm just saying they should not.
like,
They
no,
shouldn't kick him out again.
yeah, exactly. I don't think so either.
Yeah,
And
I mean, yes, he's got a weird mentality. He's got all this and that, but
yeah,
that doesn't mean getting rid of him would solve the problem.
yeah. And the other thing that I would say too is like,
Yeah,
uh, I think people care about open source because of him, but I don't think
yeah,
they're open source purists.
no, and in my eye, this is not to open a rabbit hole or anything, but I think you know, purism has a place in time.
Yeah.
And there are Linux and FOSS purists out there, and that's all well and good. But
Mhm. Most
at
of us
the,
aren't that.
no, no, no. I'm just saying, I'm not, and but there are some people out there like that. But the thing you got to remember is, and I'm going to say this line from my buddy Fishman, and Fish, if they're out there, you watch this. Good to see you, brother. But and my buddy Seeker, aka Red, who's again, if you're out there, brother, good to see you. But you know, it's like my brothers always tell me, you know, uh, people are far more important than a piece of software, and I think a lot of Linux hardcore people forget that very
Yeah.
true fact. You know,
Oh yeah.
and I think you know, it's a problem that has gone on for years. And I don't mean that as a way to open a can of worms with anybody, but, you know, it really hurts me and my teammates in that when we see that people forget this kind of stuff. You
Oh,
know,
I actually, that actually is a really good way to put it, because oh,
yeah,
we got a siren in the background, but that's a good way to put it, because like, you know, I sometimes I don't like, for example, I don't like the GNOME project, right?
yeah,
And yes, I have criticized the developers as far as the
yeah,
ones I've had problems with. They're the
mm,
only ones I've criticized, because there's other developers I haven't had any problems with, and I'm not going to criticize it. But
no,
even though it's reflective of the project as a whole, my hatred, for example, isn't the GNOME project. I have to remember, like, yeah, maybe I don't know if I need to tone it down. I don't know if I need to be a little nicer about it. I don't really know what the answer is, to be honest. I
right,
wish I wish I did. Maybe that I should say it that way. I wish I knew what the answer was, because
yeah,
I you know when you see a lot of nonsense, you should speak out.
yeah, you should.
But at the same time, we need, probably like you said, you got to remember that those are people. The users are people. People who like this stuff are people.
Yeah,
And so I want to try and find that balance, at least on my channel, because I do want to call some of it out. Like
yeah,
DT, for example, like the other day
yeah,
the other day he what did he I guess it wasn't the other day. It was like about a year or two ago. He
yeah.
torched he torched Nano, like, to the Stone Ages. I
Uh,
loved it.
I
I know you use Nano.
Yes, and that's partly because I've used it for so many years. And like I said, I've tried Vim, but I'm just very married to Nano, and
Yeah.
that's not to put any Vim user down, but it's just
I remember one of the interviews you did with DT, and you were like, in Nano you're gonna do this or that. I don't remember if it was you or Big Pod. I think both
it
of
was
you.
one of us, yeah,
Yeah.
but we
And he
both
was
agreed
like,
that
all of us Vim users, you're gonna do it like this. Like, he was like, no, this Nano.
he does not like
I'm
Nano.
about the same way, because I've used Vim for, well, I've used NeoVim for since it came out,
Neo
but
Vim.
I've used Vim even longer. I think I've used Vim since about
Yeah,
2010. So like
yeah,
the whole like JK or HJKNL, like, that's
yeah.
hardwired to my fingers. Like,
I
I
get
can't
it. I
every
get
like I tried to get used to VS Code when I was learning to code a few years ago,
yeah,
and then they have like this like so-called like Vim thing, and it's like,
yeah,
oh yeah, that's so anyway. But actually, I think back to my point though is, I mean, like, you're a Nano user, right? And that's cool.
right,
Like, total respect. Like, I don't dig Nano, but total respect. And maybe I don't know. I'm actually, even though I hate the GNOME desktop,
right.
I do with a passion. there is a project that has the GNOME desktop on it that I probably
Yeah.
will showcase, and that's Bazite. I think that's just a
But
bad
as
name.
they do a decent job with Gnome. I will give
Yeah.
them that.
And they do a decent job with just the whole distro or distribution in itself. I mean
Yeah.
that the the kind of development that goes into it to make it cloud native is pretty impressive. Like,
Yeah, yeah. And actually, one of our buddies, Arch Penguin, has been trying to.
oh yeah,
He's been trying to give me an incentive to try the Bazite
yeah. Well,
distro.
if you're into gaming, you'll love it. I mean, it's
I
just
am a I'm a gamer at heart, as
yeah,
and it's been a project that I've been meaning to figure out, but I'm so tied to typical Linux desktops and systems that
mm,
I don't know. I'm not sure I'll do it, truth be told, but I just might actually.
yeah, yeah. And
And I've heard that they have some of the best NVIDIA support. Is that right?
oh yeah, good God, I'm running on this on my laptop, and it's the best NVIDIA support I've had. So I'm running Aurora, which is just like the Plasma edition without all the gaming stuff, but it's
Yeah,
with the developer stuff. But
yeah, I get it.
um, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
See, I have two laptops sitting here, both with NVIDIA hybrid. One is an Intel and one's an AMD, and I'm like, this is a nightmare to get Linux working on. It has been it for a long time, and
mm,
I'm not sure how to best combat that. And I've been told by Arch many times that he suggests that I that you know that I try Bazite on one of the drives because it works. He said it works pretty darn well. So
yeah, no, it does. And see, Fedora is notorious for having bad NVIDIA support, but
they are.
oh yeah, but this no,
This
this is
takes all
actually
of that headache away, huh?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
because I went to Fedora. I used Fedora for about
Yeah. And I
two.
know that Fedora does not ship with Calamares, does it?
No, it has the I
Yeah.
can't remember the other installer, but
Anaconda installer.
Anaconda, yes.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
But that's
And
actually
honestly,
easy. That's easier than that's actually it's still like a 3 point click system.
no, no, no. Yeah, it's not familiar to me because I tried it back in the actually back on Sabayon some years.
Oh,
And no offense to Sabayon, but those guys,
Sabian is Gentoo based.
or it was, it's sadly no longer maintained, but it's
Oh
all
yeah, what is it?
Mochaccino took over it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I've been meaning to check that out on my channel.
yeah,
I've been
well,
kind of
I'm
slacking.
actually working on like I said, Storm G, which is another Gen 2 Calamares project, actually. And I
Mm.
used AI to actually make a GUI front end to Portage, actually.
Oh, that's a good idea, actually.
Yeah, I'll send you the link to it once it's all done. I haven't, uh, and like I said, my buddy Emilo looked at it this morning, but yeah, I'll talk to you more about it after the show. But yeah, it's a very uh, and I would love to see you try that out on your channel at some point.
Oh, I would do it. Yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah,
would try it
uh,
out.
and
Yeah.
the GUI front end to Portage is just called Gen 2 Package Manager, and it's uh, it's actually got the Gen 2 handbook listed on the desktop as well,
Mm.
and it's the package handler on the desktop is written in YAD and Zenity, actually with GTK included on top of it.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah.
And it actually it's a 7 gig download. I haven't figured out how to deep load it yet, but the funny thing is it doesn't come with but like 700 and something packages on top of it. And so I just don't get why it's so heavy like that
Oh, I might be able to help you out with that actually.
Yeah, we can look at that after the
Yeah,
interview and all that.
Mental Outlaw has his video on how to install Gentoo. I don't
Yeah,
know if you've ever seen it,
I
but
have actually, and I actually have Gen 2 running on one of my laptops here, but
but he
I just
mhm. he
but
base he basically so like he took a live, like he installed Gentoo, and then he took like some
yeah,
of the
right.
scripts that get written during the installation. I can't
Yeah,
remember exactly which ones, but he just basically just took them and just basically pushed them to like his like GitHub or GitLab, and then he uses
yeah,
that to install it just to bypass that whole process, because
yeah.
to basically get that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
script, it takes like an hour to compile everything.
That's not bad.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
so
because what I'm trying to do is use this thing called Catalyst to repackage Gen 2 into an ISO. But the problem with Cat
oh, uh-oh, you're gonna have to come back, I think. All right, just go ahead and come back in, I think. I don't know what happened. We'll get him back here. Uh, all right. Something happened to Ben. Anyway. All right. So yeah. Okay. So anyway, I kind of wanted to just kind of like while I wait for Ben to come back on here, let me know when you come back. Just come back whenever. I just wanted to show everybody. I wanted to show some people like some comments that I've seen and that sort of thing. 1 second. I just want to kind of show some comments that I've seen regarding this project. So just I want people. All right. All right. I want some people to check out some of these comments, but I need to blow this up a little bit. Oh, this is not. All right. Um. All right. Are you back? Okay. Yeah, we had a disconnect. Just all right. So, um, I just wanted to show everybody this because I think this is really indicative of what his project is about. Oh, he's blowing me up. This is basically indicative of what Ben's project has always been about, and I basically just kind of want to show like some hi- highlight some stuff here. Um, you don't see me. You probably won't. Are you not? All right. Hold on. You should see me. I don't see you either. All right. Let me leave and then come back maybe. Let me just leave, and then come back in. All right, there we are. Can you hear me? Oh, hold on. This always happens with. Oh, all right. Hold on. There you are. I gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I'm not booting you off, I promise. All right. So I just want to kind of show some people here this real quick, Ben, because I actually think this is kind of what really wanted to get people to
Yeah.
like know about your project.
Yeah.
I hope so. Basically, um, so basically looking at, so let me just read a couple of Reddit posts, and this is about Storm OS, but I think this
Yeah.
probably applies to your current project as well.
Yeah.
All right, looking at this video and after downloading and trying out Arco, I think I might go with Storm OS. I don't know why, but the installs are nearly identical, but with added benefit of not being tied down to certain Arco repositories and just plain Arch. When going through the software, I was seeing a bunch of things I needed to configure as there were a lot of decisions made for the user or just plain didn't need. I feel this is better in terms of vanilla Arch, making it customizable to whatever you want to do. Plus, a website is so much easier to navigate and get one ISO and boom, no convoluted stuff like Arco has. Curious to hear your thoughts on Storm versus Arco, as I remember in a video you said it was your main distro, but you could be old by the time of writing. As always, great work, blah blah blah. Alright. Trying to install Storm OS on my laptop, booting it from USB looks really nice and functions really well. Bluetooth issues I have when on Windows completely disappeared. Very good. Very good. First time I've seen Arch for the masses. I don't see why anyone can't use this as a daily OS. Also, Storm OS Toolbox is a neat idea. So, okay, Darren, my Discord channel should be right on my channel, but I will put it in the comments. Give me a second. All right, are you still with me?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, good. All right. So very good. I'm glad you're still with us. So basically, I just wanted to let me get an invite here. I forget how to do this. I always forget how to do this. All right. I think it's here, maybe. Okay, gotcha. All right, I'm gonna put it in the comments section real quick. All right. All right. Got it. Right here. There's my Discord server or channel, whatever. All right. So anyway, I really want people to check out this Accretion OS. I really do, because I installed it yesterday live, and I have to say it was one of the easier installs. And I also want to say that like I think this might have been like my first operating system I ever tried, if it would have been that easy to configure, and I would have stuck with it forever. Very easy. Yeah. Anyway, somebody thought your laptop died. or
No, no,
that you
I'm on
lost
my
your,
desktop.
or you might have lost your internet again.
I don't know. Well,
All right. Well, anyway, so I got to get out of here in about 10 minutes. So,
no
um,
worries.
yeah. Anything you want to finish with or
I
talk
pretty much
about?
said everything I need to say at this point.
All
Like,
right, no problem. All right, and I put some things in. I put sorry.
yeah,
Um, after about an hour, my mind just kind of goes.
yeah, same for me at the same points.
Okay, so yeah, I want everybody checking out this project, and yeah, I actually look forward to, like, talking to you guys. Maybe even I might contribute something or something. So the Linux Grandpa just joined my channel. Cool. Well, hey, I'm not a grandpa yet, but I'm pretty close, man.
Yeah.
There you are. I gotcha. Yeah, go ahead and join my server, and you can join my Mastodon and my Blue Sky. I don't use Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram anymore. I've shit canned uh, those because I just don't want to support a bunch of billionaires who don't have my best interest in mind when it comes to privacy and things like that. So, yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, all right. Linux Grandpa. Hey there. Wait, how do I do this? Yeah, I'm definitely doing well. Um, there we go. All right. Anyway, I got some new people here.
Yeah,
People who know.
yeah, yeah. I actually have to pop off shortly myself, Shaston. But again, thank you for having us. Thank you for having me on to talk about the XFC edition. I
Yes,
look forward
absolutely.
to talking with you again soon. So, I'm gonna go ahead and hop out. But thank you
Yeah.
for thank you for this opportunity, and I'll see you around the bend very soon.
Yeah, no. The pleasure's all mine.
Yeah, of
And it was a pleasure to meet everyone here. You're always
course,
welcome on my Discord, on my social media, on my YouTube, and anytime any of you want to come on, you just let me know,
of course.
and I will be more than happy to be accommodating, and we will set
Oh,
this up. And hopefully we can have, like, I'll plan it a little bit better. Like, I didn't know, like,
oh.
how to set all of this up. I did everything at the last minute, so it didn't
Well,
turn
I
out
think
as
you did pretty
good
well.
as I wanted it to, but it was okay.
Of course, man. Yeah. Well, either way, I will catch you around the bend very soon again, man.
Yes, absolutely. And hey, all of you guys, Daryl, um, Jonathan, all of you guys, like I said, you're always welcome. And it's nice to kind of actually talk to somebody that we've kind
Yeah.
of been, going back and forth over the years, and now
Uh-huh.
we finally hooked up. So this is really good. So
All right.
anyway,
All right. Well,
anyway, yeah, I'll see you around. And anyway, yeah, don't
all right.
don't be a stranger.
Of
I'm
course
around.
not. I'll
Got
see
a
you.
new friend now, so it's cool.
Yeah, man. See you soon.
See you soon. All right, as you guys can see, we talked about a lot of different things, and I just want to kind of part ways with some things that I I kind of realized from this interview, and I just want to just briefly touch on it. I when I have younger people on, they remind me that there's two sides, because we had a Gen Xer in the chat, just like me, And then, of course, Ben is a little younger than me. And sometimes I have to check myself, right? I, I can't just be going out hating on people and projects. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm never going to like the GNOME desktop, most likely. Although I might install Bazite on my other computer. It's a possibility. Um, it's interesting to get like a differing view of different projects, even though we're kind of like minded. I like Linux minimalism. He definitely, Ben likes Linux minimalism. I think pretty much everyone there liked Linux minimalism and that sort of thing. That is really interesting to me that even though we're like fairly like minded, our likes are quite different sometimes. And maybe we need to be a little cognizant of that. And I speak for myself. I'm not speaking for anyone else. I'm not virtue signaling. I'm just saying for myself. And this is a really cool project. This is the other thing. So I'm not going to make this all about me. It was just a thought that occurred to me. So at the end of the day, I really want people to check this project out because I do think it has my full endorsement. I just installed it. It was the easiest install. It was so, like everything worked. And if you're looking for something that's going to work out of the box for the most part for pretty much probably 95% of the people right out of the box, this is probably going to be your distro. And then the Gentoo one is going to be there too fairly soon. And so I'm really excited to see what happens with this project, how it morphs. One of my biggest problems with the whole, I don't know, with the whole new like the Arco thing, right? That website is so crazy. He's brought a lot of attention and a lot of noise to the whole Arch Linux world. And he's got people excited about all these desktops, and that's cool. And just as I was thinking, hey, I would like to bring, like get people excited about this stuff, what does Fedora do? What do they do? They got Xorg. I mean, any vestige of Xorg from the kernel. Like, I always wonder, like, what would happen if you could bring that excitement across platform? But like some of us developers, we don't mind X. I don't mind X, but I also see the need to go to Wayland. And so my whole thing was, all right, well, let's have some Wayland desktops. Let's have some Xorg desktops and let's have fun with it. And so anyway, when I see you know, really bare bones, very simple distros like this, and simple I don't mean in a bad way, in a pejorative sense at all. I just simply mean, and this is just coming from me, I just mean that everything works. It's simple, it's easy to navigate. Like if you take a look at Arco Linux's website, dude, I don't know the difference between Arco Linux L, Arco Linux X, Arco Linux D, Arco Linux A. I don't know the difference. When I load the Calamaris installer, I can't see a difference. Maybe it's my ignorance. I'm sorry, but here you have something that's very straightforward and easy to navigate and that sort of thing. And I think this is a good project. And um, the only thing that I would say might be missing is like to make a project like this immutable. And I think you would have a really cool project where you could choose like the different desktops and things like that. That's something that might actually be something that maybe they would be interested or maybe not be interested. I don't know. But anyway, that's pretty much my interview. I thought that interview went rather well. I didn't know I was going to do this interview until, um, I don't know, about 12 hours. No, not even a little bit more than that, about 16 hours beforehand. And so I had to go to work. And so I set all of this up first thing this morning, and I was frantically scrambling, and this is what we came up with. So, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this interview, and that's all. I'm going to leave it at that. And anyway, you guys have a great day. Now, as always, check out my merch. I got a new. What do you guys think of my new icon? Leave me a comment in the section below. And as always, um, hey everyone, I thoroughly enjoyed this interview again. If you haven't checked out my other videos, if you haven't binge watched or whatever, you don't know what you're missing. And also, if you haven't checked out my Discord server, you should check it out, man. Come join us. We're going to have a lot of fun. Anyway, peace.